They started. You're off. Off to the races.
All right, so innovation in healthcare. What do you think about when you think about that? 90% of the time, when you think about it, it's really around the devices, the diagnostics, the medicine, the pills, the cool new, sexy thing. But the reality, when you think about innovation in healthcare, you need to think about the challenges that really exist today in the system. So the challenges that really exist today in the system are around the business model of healthcare delivery. And of late, of course, that's become a much more interesting topic to be discussing. So what's all the fuss about? 46 million people uninsured with 1 million more every year. 30 seconds. There's a new bankruptcy because of healthcare. We have about 31% growth in terms of what the healthcare costs are. And the U.S. healthcare nation, if we were to carve it out, would be a nation of 15 million people, generating about $2.3 trillion worth of GDP, which is about 17% of the U.S. GDP today, which will go to $3.1 trillion and lead to about 3 times the GDP of the next closest nation. How did it all get started? Instantly enough, right? It was patient-centered, physician came to your home, there was very low expectation of what healthcare really was, very simple, very limited liability. There were some employers involved early on. But the real challenge started to occur when you have misaligned stakeholder interests. Of course, on the physician side, it's a fee-for-service system, so the more they do, the more they make. On the insurer side and payer side, it's the opposite. The more they pay, that's bad because they want to pay less. And on the consumer side, of course, unlimited interest in using healthcare. Quality, it's a tale of two cities. You've got absolute miracles you hear about all the time, and on the other side you hear about complete tragedies that occur because of lack of data transfer that was effective or just terrible sob stories in the range of delivery of care. So how do we ration healthcare when you think about it? Really, it comes down to a different form of ration when you think of it. It's who you work for, can you physically afford it? Where do you live? If you've been following some of the work from Dartmouth, what do you know and who do you know? How do we get here? Bottom line, I call it assist. It's self-interest in the short term, which has driven the development of this cottage industry that's built into silos, which is fee-for-service driven. No real standardization, lack of agreed upon objectives in terms of what are we trying to get out of our healthcare industry. So the real question is, so now what? And Einstein's definition of insanity is really continue to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result, which we've been doing for over 50 years with our current existing health industry today. So I challenge people to think about innovation and applying it here in the continuum. So we tend to focus quite a bit on innovation. It's really around the what you do, right? But the reality is not just what, but how you do it and with who you do it with. In healthcare, we don't really do much of that. So I challenge us to think about Health 1.0 as our current industry and Health 2.0 as a system that we really do need if we all want to consume health. And at the center of that system, you would have activated informed patient and caregivers working in conjunction with prepared and proactive care teams, and everyone else supports that activity. We have to have common goals to make this work. The common goal should be improving the health and wellness of everyone who lives in this country. We have to align our goals, take them on, and frankly, be willing to make that change. People talk about a dramatic shift in our culture around health. We have to empower people who want to get to the 6th stage. You have to empower the care team and the patient. Point of delivery information, make sure it's automated, make sure it's relevant, make sure we're measuring success, just like any normal business, frankly. It's efficient and effective. You have to coordinate it. You have to use health information technology. In no other industry would you assume that you go backward and basically practice like you were 50 years ago with lack of technology. That's what we're doing today. It has to become patient-centered instead of provider-centered. Roles and responsibilities. Think about any other industry. It's pretty clear who does what in most other industries. In reality, in healthcare, it's a free-for-all. Right now, everybody's trying to figure out what piece do I carve out. Even just recently, we were just talking about how a pharma company is trying to go somewhere else from where they are today. Aligned motivations and incentives. This does not exist in healthcare. Everybody has their own interests, and they're clearly not aligned. We need to personalize, we need to go down the right message. And personalized treatment plans, absolutely critical. We're all an N of one. Healthcare has to be delivered with science, but tailored to the individual based on evidence and making sure that it's coordinated across the activities that are actually being used to treat. And one of the biggest issues you've got to deal with if you make health a priority is personal responsibility. We live in a no-fault country at every level. Physicians don't want to be responsible, hospitals don't want to be responsible, but mainly, frankly, we don't want to be responsible for our own health. And it's going to take a village. This is not something that any one person or any one stakeholder type would just come out and wave a magic wand, develop this perfect system, and make it all happen. We have to work together. And at the end of the day, it goes back to the lack of trust that we don't have among ourselves and with institutions. So I kind of challenge everyone here to join me in the war for health and wellness in this country. As we saw from the 300 movie, which I'm assuming was from Felicity, a small band of people, well-coordinated, well-hardened individuals were able to take it to the next level and fight off massive forces.
Thanks so much. Yes, the man can go. All right.